Maeve, thank you so much for having me today. You have the cutest, like, little tiny space that is perfect for you. Obviously, we're here to talk about your art, but I want to talk about your upbringing first, because that's fascinating to me. You were born and raised in Japan,
Yeah.
and you didn't come here until 2016, is that right?
Yes.
Were you learning about art as a kid, or did that come later?
I always liked art, but never had any formal education on art. When I went to junior high school, my art teacher was actually going to give me the recommendation letter for a local art school. It was high school, but it was specialized in art
Oh, wow.
as well. Well, my family was against it, so yeah.
So what is it like when you get that boost of confidence from a teacher that says, hey, you're really good at this? Did you recognize that? Was it clear to you that you were good at it?
Well, I knew that I was good at making things just the way I see it, and of course I had my own how can I say perspective or filter on
Sure.
how I want to achieve on those artworks. But no, back then I just didn't have a strong identity, or I didn't know which way I wanted to go as an artist. So I think it was good that I could just go to general high school and university and just had general life experience too.
So you moved here, were you actively pursuing art, or was it a hobby, or were you not even creating really at that point?
Before I came to America, I was an orchestral violinist.
Of course you were.
And I was also teaching ESL,
Yeah.
English as second language, professionally. So that's what I was doing after I moved to the stateside. I tried to find an orchestra that I could work with, but I was too busy with my baby. And well, after that, I had 2 more babies. I just couldn't keep up. Yeah, so I was a stay-at-home mom for quite a while. Then at one point, I started thinking what I could start doing, what I was already good at, and I could work from home while I stay with my children, and art came to my mind. So from then, I think it was about 3 years ago that I thought of it, and I started making artwork again for first time since I ever had my first child.
Wow.
Then from then just started taking commissions, and I joined the local artist guild to have more opportunity to meet other people. Of course, I had to take a delay every time I had a baby, but like right now.
So was it like riding a bike when you picked up, well, whether it be your charcoal or oil, when you got back into it, did it feel natural, or was there kind of another learning curve?
I feel natural. I picked up charcoal first because painting takes a lot of time, and I didn't have that chunk of time to dedicate
Right.
for my work. So I did a lot of drawing first, but for oil painting, when I first tried when I was 15, I just liked the smell.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And the well, to me, the quality of the oil painting, that's something that fascinates me. The oil painting is something that I have to learn about certain things like a color,
Sure.
and well, a little bit of a chemistry as well, because some paints fade the color over time, and some don't, things like that. And it was just fascinating that I had to learn something beyond my basic skill that I was born with.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your inspirations. I was looking at a lot of your work, and it's so, I know you're into realism, but you like to put a twist on it. So tell me about that.
So I was into illustration a lot as well. Of course, those illustrations are basically based on my imagination. But I also knew that I was good at capturing what I see as is on a canvas or a paper, so I started to try to combine things.
So what is it about people, whether they are actually humans or dolls, that is so intriguing to you when you start to create?
I just see so much emotions behind them. Well, maybe except for dolls, but you can still reflect the emotion that you want to give.
Right.
And yes, that just fascinates me. And of course, the shape-wise and when I paint the color-wise, it's so complex, and I just love to add itty bitty details. So.
Yeah. Speaking of itty bitty details, that was another thing I recognized when I was looking at your work. You have a drawing of a cat, and it's so detailed, and it's so. And I thought, that can't be charcoal? Was that charcoal?
Oh, that is an etching print.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to, I took the reference picture first. I found my cat literally in my violin case, and I just took the picture because the picture is so perfect for artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I wanted to turn it into artwork at some point. Then I had opportunity to try etching a print, and it's close to drawing. And I'm already used to drawing.
Yeah.
So I thought, why don't I just give it a try? And my cat is black and the print is black and white, so it's gonna work perfect, I thought.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like I said, especially all the tiny little details. Okay, so I'm always interested to know artists, especially who do portrait work, what is your process? Where do you even begin when it comes to creating the image of a human face, for example?
Yeah, that actually depends. Well, I have so much freedom when I work on my original works. The thing about realism is that it doesn't have to be real. So when I draw someone, it doesn't have to be like
Literal,
the person.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that becomes a little different when it comes to my commissioned works.
Yeah.
Since my artworks are so detailed, most of my clients want their either baby pets or deceased people and deceased pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that case I really have to work close with my clients because you really need to know the model to create artwork. I just don't copy the picture, so I usually have to ask several reference photos if the model is deceased, or I have to offer to take photograph. So I can study them.
So if, for example, I just sent you a photo of my daughter, you would not be interested in drawing a commission of that photo, that inspiration photo, because you don't have any background on her.
Yeah, what I ask my client is that they usually don't understand the importance of study and reference photograph. So you usually have to say if you have the composition that you want in the picture, then you can send it to me. But I also have to ask my clients to send me the pictures from variety of angles of the model, or with a certain lighting that I really need on the model.
So how hard is it to take all of this reference material, and especially when it's photographs of people that you maybe can't meet in person, and sort of create the image in your head that you are then going to translate onto paper?
That my imagination skill comes a little handy. I just say for this interview we have lights from multiple angles. You know, we all have a life experience. The sun goes up and the shadow goes the other direction. I just use those basic knowledge to imagine how the shadow appears and the cast lighting is going to be, etc., etc.
And that just comes to you. You just have that. I'm always amazed when I talk to artists because I don't have that skill. It's not in me. So the fact that that's just innate is so cool to me. Do you ever really struggle to get an image out onto paper?
Yeah, I do sometimes. But that's usually when I have to add something that is completely imaginal or completely separate from the main picture that I refer to.
Yeah.
Like add a different background kind of thing.
So Is it amazing to you to look back over this journey and see how your creative outlets have evolved? You started as a musician and as a linguist, really, and then started expressing yourself with portraits. Is it amazing to you how it's all evolved?
Yeah. I think so
That's the
too.
easy answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but the tricky thing is I like to do a lot of things. I make my own clothes. I like cooking. I used to play violin, and before violin, I started as a kid. Started playing a trumpet in the band, but it took me 30 years to realize that I loved art enough to put more effort than just hobby.
What is the most challenging part of creating your art?
That's probably the actual time that I can make to,
Carving out the time.
Yeah, carving out
Sure.
a time to create. Many things I can do from home, like sending out emails, making advertisements. I can do that from home. But to create what I can sell is a totally different story.
Yeah. Hence the studio. You were
Yeah.
saying before we started that,
Yeah.
with 3 little ones at home and cats,
Yes.
that it really helps to have a designated space.
Yes.
Okay, we talked about the hardest part. What's the best part?
The best part is, of course, that I enjoy them.
Yeah.
My studio time is also my therapy time.
Yes.
I can forget about the time and just to focus on things. Of course, I have to force myself to focus instead of just going on the Facebook time to time. It is
Right.
tempting, but I just have to force myself to focus.
Yeah. Well, Maeve, I am so glad that you decided to start expressing yourself in this way. Your work is beautiful. Thank you so much for sitting down with me, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Arts in Focus on PBS Fort Wayne is funded in part by the Our Foundation and the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne.